Hey everyone, Percy here. Just wanted to let you know ahead of time that this episode is mostly combat. And I know that that's not what people listen for when they listen to actual play podcasts. They're into the storytelling. However, I didn't want to cut out everything that Bane did because it's cool in its own right. For those of you that want to skip all of the bug murder, there will be a timestamp in the description where the actual story starts. I know it seems kind of confusing, but trust me, for those of you that are into combat, it'll be something pretty fun. Other than that, enjoy the episode as normal. Thanks for listening, guys. Welcome to Tales of Seizand, a large-scale actual play podcast in which I tell stories about different things that happen on this plane and a little bit of the planes on its borders. I'm your DM, Percival Lashe. Find me on Twitter.com at Percival Lashe, and I'm joined by
Badr Ma'toog. Badr Ma'toog is here. And I'm joined by Water.
I'm very excited to welcome our new guest, Water, who will be playing 80% of our bodies. I will be, Badr, who are you going to be playing?
I'm going to be playing Thaneous Bane of House Thane.
Okay. I will be playing literally every other character. Okay. Let's get to it. Bane of House Thane awoke in a large field, waves of wild grass swimming for miles all around him. Above, the starlit sky shimmered with an unwelcome familiarity. Amidst the endless black, 3 new stars twinkled, and Bane felt a twinge of sadness, yet at the same time felt his resolve swell. Glaring at the sky, the scar in his chest began to pulsate with a slight pain and glow. He didn't know exactly what was going on, but he did know that he needed to find his apprentice, and find a way to kill the Star Herald Orias. The only thing that looked like a hospitable nearby place was a small light in the distance. What do?
I start by wiping the tear that is crawling down my face. And I think I take a deep breath and a sigh, and I look around.
Roll perception.
Oh, it's a ooh. All right, let's see how this goes. That's an 11.
Looking around, the only thing you can see is a small flickering light in the distance that looks to be a settlement of some kind. The only other thing here is wild grass.
I look at my self, I guess. I look down.
Okay.
And I think I realize, I don't have anything on me.
You have your pants, which has pockets. You also see that the scar that Carp gave you on your chest is glowing slightly.
Huh. That's kind of weird. I think I just start moving towards the settlement, but also, are there any trees around at all? Are there rocks? Anything? It's just grass.
Just grass.
All right, I'll go towards the thing.
Okay.
I'll pick up any cool herbs and stuff in the way.
Roll nature.
That's a bad one. Nature is int. That's not as bad as Wiz.
7. It's just a lot of wild grass, as far as the eye can see. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and let you do this now. Check your pocket.
Alright, I checked my pocket.
You feel something small and smooth inside.
Oh, is that my...
No! What the fuck? I know I said I was gonna make season 2 horny, but no.
I pull it out. The smooth thing.
God damn it.
I'm sorry, everyone.
You pull out a small, perfectly round stone of sorts. It is black and it is speckled.
Weird. I put it back in my pocket.
Okay.
And I continue walking the settlement.
You move further and further on, and eventually you see a strange, bug-like creature. It's just about as big as you are, with a massive gaping mouth and huge scythe claws that have these spikes on the outside of it. It's carrying itself on these 8 smaller legs, and it's just like walking around, and every now and again it'll go like... What do you do? It doesn't seem to have noticed you yet.
Is that from the settlement? Is it coming from the settlement?
No. It's like in between you and the settlement.
May I make a roll to see if this is an a sapient creature?
Sure, roll nature.
14.
You know that insectoids typically are not sapient. And this one doesn't really have any signs of it. But you can't know for sure.
Well, I don't really have any weapons on me, so I think I'm going to try to just, like, go around it.
Okay. Do you want to just try to, like, walk?
Yeah.
Okay. You begin walking around this thing, and as you get to maybe, like, parallel to where it's at, it kind of, like, pokes its head up and, like, looks around a little bit, and it goes... Okay. It looks directly at you, and with these bright red eyes, begins to shuffle towards you.
Could I start running towards the settlement?
Yeah, sure. Do you just fucking book it?
Yeah.
Okay. You start running towards the settlement as fast as you can, and this thing sees you do that, and it makes a lot of really fast clicks. It jumps up and dives into the ground. What do you do?
All right. I think I see it jump up and dive into the ground, and I think I'm just going to turn around and I'm going to... can I see a trail after, like... Could I determine where it's diving and where it's going?
Roll investigation.
That's a nat 1.
Not even a little bit.
I start running again.
You spin around after failing to find this creature that just dug into the ground, and you begin running towards the settlement, which is still pretty far out at this point. Eventually, you feel a small rumbling beneath your feet. Make a dexterity saving throw.
It's something I can see, right?
You cannot see this.
But you see a small rumbling beneath my feet, right?
You feel it.
I feel it.
Yes. You got a 1 on that investigation, bruh? Nah.
Alright.
Holy shit!
Give it to me, baby.
This thing, like, burrows out from underneath you and lets loose this loud series of clicks. And as it jumps out, it, like, slashes you against your back with its claws. I need for you to Seven. It is now standing above you as you've been, like, knocked to the ground by the force. It, like, looks at you, and it puts its face close to you and kind of just goes, what do you do?
So I'm on the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm just going to look at it, and this is going to feel so good. It's been so long. I'm going to fucking rage.
Okay, alright.
And I want to grab its face with both of my hands.
Okay.
I want to just fucking, like, suplex it.
Go ahead and give me a, let's have a strength contest. You have disadvantage because you are on the ground.
But I have advantage because I'm raging.
Yes.
So... Natural fucking 20, baby.
20.
Give me a fucking coin.
Okay. You see this thing, and you just, like, you see it bearing down on you, and you just throw yourself into a fury, and you grab your hands on either side of its cold, chitinous head, and you just, like, slam it backwards onto the ground, like, lands, and you hear a crunching sound. It, like, scrambles to right itself as you pull yourself up from the ground. It looks like you managed to hurt it a little bit. What do you do?
I look around quickly. Do I see... Is it just grass again? Do I see any, like, rocks or trees or anything?
Just grass.
Alright. Then I think I'm gonna go ahead and... try to rip out one of its legs.
Okay. Alright. Go ahead and, let's have another strength contest.
This time I don't have disadvantage, right?
Correct.
So that means I have advantage.
Correct.
Strength, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a +5 and then
Wait, are you trying to rip out one of its legs or one of its, like, scythe arms?
Ooh. I'll do an arm.
Okay.
So that is a 19.
Okay. You grab this thing's arm and you pull with, like, all of your might, and you feel it kind of, like, a little bit, and you know that you're very close to just ripping this thing out. It, however, does not like having its arm almost ripped out of its socket, so it takes its free hand and tries to give you a stab.
Try as you might.
Does 15 hit your AC?
15, yes.
Okay.
15, that's it.
It, like, slashes against you once, and the attack kind of, like, pierces your side a little bit. Take 6.
I take 3.
Okay. And it tries to give you one more poke. 19.
19 hits, yeah.
Okay. Take 7.
I'll take 3 again?
Yes. At this point, it looks kind of, like, frightened. What do you do?
I am going to continue to pull.
Okay. Go ahead and give me another athletics or strength contest. Okay, buddy. Okay, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got a 22.
Okay. This creature, like, sees you pulling at its weakened arm, and you begin to, like, pull it and pull it and pull it until, like, more and more cracks of the chitin comes out, Okay, yeah, your wisdom is sufficient enough to do this. The second it the arm leaves its body, it quickly takes its head and just goes and gobbles down its own arm. It looks quite mad.
Oh, it gobbles down its own arm.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
They're just gonna try to punch you. 7?
No.
All right. So it tries to grab you with its scythe arm, but you easily put up a calloused hand and you're just like, but as it does, it pulls it back on your palm. Does 19 hit your AC?
Yeah.
Okay. Take 4.
I'll take 2.
All right. What do you do?
What if I take its other arm?
I mean, you could try.
I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
Okay. I think you're getting this arm, buddy.
Natural 20.
Jesus Christ!
I got a natural 20 and Percy got a natural 1.
Holy shit. Okay. Alright, here's what happens. You grab onto this, your face just lights with rage. You're like, I was going to use that arm to beat you to death, motherfucker. And so you grab you use both of your hands to grab the other scythe arm, and you crack it once, and you crack it a second time until you have a little bit of a lever, and you just grab that with both hands and just rip it off. It lets out one long, I'm not gonna make the noise, one long series of clicks and shatters, and it looks like you could breathe on it and it would fall to the ground dead.
I'm just going to stare at it right in the eyes, and I'm just gonna say, leave.
Okay.
And I'm gonna use intimidating presence.
Sure, roll intimidation. I'm gonna give this thing disadvantage because you've ripped off both of its arms. 8. It's got very bad charisma.
Nice. It is frightened of me.
Okay.
And it runs away.
Yeah, it turns and runs and keeps releasing that loud, chittering series of clicks. You feel a rumbling. What do you do?
Can I tell where the rumbling's coming from?
Roll perception.
That's a 3, baby.
You have no idea. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Alright, that's good. I got a 21.
Okay. You hear the ground rumbling beneath your feet. And you can't really tell exactly where it's coming from, but what you do see, you have advantage on this. You see this. Because this is an effect that you can see.
Oh.
You have advantage on it.
Okay, in case I roll a natural 20.
Yes.
I don't.
You see, a couple feet away from you, this gigantic version of the thing that you just fought off launch itself out of the ground and then, sail towards you with 4 of these scythe arms extended. It tries to give you a huge swipe, but you easily slide out of the way. This thing, in comparison to the other one, is massive. It staggers above you, and weird acid drips from its maw. You watch as it falls and lands on some of the wild grass, and it just burns away. It lets loose a massive shriek and tries to do a gang violence on you. 18.
Oh, that hits.
26.
Oh, that hits.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Wait, was that 26? No, it was 25, sorry.
It's still a lot. It hits.
Take 5, and then take 11.
So that's 2 and then
5.
5.
It screeches in your face, and it gets some spittle on you. What do you do?
What if I slashed at its leg with a claw?
It would be an improvised weapon, but you could.
Sure.
Okay. Give me an attack roll. Add your strength. Are you fucking serious? This
Another
is
natural
actually
20.
absurd. Okay. You take the claw of this other thing that you just like no-scoped, and you grab it and you swing it with both hands around one of its forelegs, and you just do like a massive slicing crunch, or a massive slicing slice, I guess. Go ahead and roll 2d4.
12.
Okay.
My attack may have a +8.
Jesus Christ. Okay. You slam the
I have an extra attack.
Yeah, you do that. Would you like to do another gang violence?
Well, tell me what happens with when I hit its leg.
You cut it and it seeps this gross purple blood. It looks quite upset.
I want to try to. I just like let go of the claw, and I want to just like snap its leg.
Holy shit. Okay. Go ahead and give me a unarmed attack roll.
25.
Okay. You easily just like move in towards it. You take like a wrestler stance and you just like watch its movements for a second, and you move into its range and you go after the leg and you grip on it as hard as you can. Roll athletics.
All right. Advantage because rage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And strength ability checks. Yes. 19 plus 9, 28.
Holy shit. Okay, so you like move up to this thing and you like wring the fuck out of one of its legs. Okay. You did some serious harm there. It like pulls away from you and like kicks you off of it, as it like kind of like limps away a little bit. It still looks very mad and intent on killing you. It takes one of its scythe arms and tries to give you a cut.
Yeah, I'll hit. Probably.
25, yeah. And slashes you right across the chest. Take 7.
Yeah, I'll take 3. Thank you very much.
Okay. It also like rears its neck up, and you see something roiling in its throat, and it comes back down and it spits this mouthful of green goop at you. Give me a dex saving throw.
I can see this, right?
This is an effect that you can see.
Yes. Ooh, thank goodness I can see it. Ooh, thank goodness I can see it.
You, with the instinct of a seasoned warrior, just like see this and you're like, I know what the fuck this is. So what you do is, you like see it roiling and pulling its neck back, and you take this opportunity to just like dive beneath its legs. It's pretty bigger, or it's a lot bigger than you, so you're very easily able to just like slide underneath it, and you position yourself in such a way that you can get an attack in before you slide the other way out. What do you want to do?
Fuck, I want to like, as I'm sliding, I want to like grab onto a leg and like pull it to have it fall.
Roll athletics. This is fucking insane.
I rolled another natural 20.
Actually fucking insane. Okay. You slide underneath it and you grabbed their... Ooh, okay, here's what you do. You, like, run underneath it and then you, like... You backhand the leg that's already been damaged on the way, like, down. And, like, on the way out, you swing around and you pull the back leg on the opposite side with all of your might. And you watch as it just, like, hits to the ground and just goes, like... It's your turn. What do you do?
I want to climb it.
Okay, roll athletics.
An unnatural 20.
Okay.
Still a 20.
Okay. You begin to climb this thing on the ground, and you make your way onto its back, which is pretty sizable. It's about the size of this table. The thing is still squirming and flailing around, but you still have a little bit more time to actually do something. What do you do? Punch it in the back of the fucking head?
Pretty much. I want to go to its, like, sort of, like, sit at its, like, neck area?
Yeah.
A question mark? And just fucking bop it.
Just like punch it in the back of the head?
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me an attack roll with advantage against this prone target that
right.
you're on top of.
17. So many times. Alright, my attack would be 26.
Okay. You easily just, how many attacks do you have?
2.
Okay. We'll say that you sliding under and, like, pulling the things was one attack. Or, no. You climbing on the thing was one attack. This is going to be your other attack for the turn. You just, like, take a look around at the neck and you look for the softest spot and you're like, I found it. And you put your hands together in a big hammer strike and you pull it behind you and just, like, smash it directly on the back of the head. Go ahead and roll, let's see. An unarmed strike does 1d4. You're using 2 hands. Go ahead and roll d8.
Fucking tricks. Fucking dice tricks. Always a 1 or a 20.
No matter the dice.
1 plus 8. 9 damage.
Okay. God, I love Bane. Okay.
Oh, I forgot about brutal criticals. I should remember.
Doesn't matter. You either get a 20 or a 1.
No, yeah, brutal criticals lets me add another die to my damage rolls.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so this thing, like, scrambles as it tries to get up and regain its balance. And it feels itself on your back, or on its back, and it tries to buck you off. Give me a dexterity saving throw. It is an effect you can see.
Could I argue strength to try to hold on?
Sure. You will almost certainly get it.
16 plus 9 is 25.
Okay. Yeah, without even, like... Here's what you do. You just flex your thighs. As this thing, like, bucks around, you just flex your thighs and you don't move a muscle. It's like you're a fucking rotoscope as this thing is, like, moving all around you. The only thing that moves is your waist as you're, like, staying in position on this thing.
God.
It realizes that you are holding on for dear life, and here's what it does next. It jumps up into the air and begins to, like, move its hands down in a burrowing motion. What do you do?
Could I in this instance... Alright, here's what I want to do. I want to give it a quick bop. and then like slide off it. And then while it's disoriented from the quick bop, grab its like fucking pincers or whatever it has and suplex the fuck out of it while it's in midair.
It will not be easy, but you can try.
I'll try.
Okay, give me a melee attack roll for the first hit.
Natural 20, baby. What dice do I use for this?
D8.
Ooh, so 3d8.
3?
Brutal critical, baby.
It adds 2 damage dice?
It adds 1 more damage dice.
Oh, yeah, it's only 1d8.
Yeah.
Your hand is only 1d8.
No, critical adds 1, so brutal critical adds another.
Holy fuck, Bane.
Bane is a powerful being. It's a shame that he died once. Alright, so that's 11 plus 8, 19 damage.
Okay.
In the first hit.
Okay. So you punch the fuck out of the back of this thing's head in the same spot you did before, and you hit it in the same spot that now has cracks in it. And as you do, you're still like in midair. This thing is in mid-buck. You jump off. Roll acrobatics.
Ooh, that's not a very good one. So that's a 6, baby.
Okay. Oh, man. I really wanted this to happen. It would have been so cool.
If it's a dex saving throw,
It is not.
Then it's an effect I can see.
It is not. You are doing something to the world. The world is not doing something to you here. You try to like jump off and like land gracefully, but you kind of just like smack onto the ground and you crunch over the dry grass. Take 1 ground damage.
0?
Take 0 ground damage.
I guess. Does that how it work?
Your big muscles absorb the damage. This thing is burrowing underground. What do you do?
Could I like fucking fucking martial law punch it as it's burrowing, like just right in the back or something?
I think it's burrowing too deep for you to hit it right now.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm gonna like wait and try to keep track of where it's coming.
Okay. Roll investigation.
That is what's my 16.
Okay. You try to keep track of this thing as best you can, but you look around and you look around and you try to figure out where this thing is coming from, but once again it leaps from the dirt at you. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, that's a 5.
It's an effect you can see.
Oh. It's a natural 20, baby.
Roll athletics.
Sure. That's a 27.
Okay. You okay. You look around and you're in like a crouched position as you're trying to watch where all of this rumbling is coming from, and then you can't really make it out, but your body begins to move before your brain even knows what's going on. You watch this thing coming towards you, claws bared, and you just grab it by the bottom pairs of sides, and you do fucking suplex it onto the ground. It hits the ground with a big crunch and scrambles to right itself. Oh, fuck.
It takes 94 damage?
It takes 94 damage now.
Fuck, I'm gonna suplex things more often.
Okay. You watch it, like, scramble to right itself, and it kind of, like, coughs up this weird purple blood. And it, like, rears its neck back one more time, and tries to spit a poison at you. Give me a dex saving throw.
I can see that.
You can see it, yeah.
Natural 20, baby.
You're just kicking this thing's ass.
I really want Bane to live.
Go ahead and roll another. See if you double crit. I would like to see if this is a thing. Okay, no. All right. You have the opportunity to do something while it's rearing its head back. What do you do?
While it's rearing its head back?
Yes.
I want to run in quickly and like fucking... Yeah, just uppercut it. I want to uppercut it and then like stay under it so it spits the acid all over itself.
Okay. Give me a melee attack roll.
Could I reckless attack this thing?
Yes. I would argue that this is quite a reckless thing to do.
Yeah. All right. 12 plus. I'm disappointed. It's reached the point where I'm disappointed that I got a 12. 21.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah.
You. Oh, Bane, you are really just putting the dick to this thing. What? You see it like move its head back, and with again your body begins to move before you even understand what's happening. You just like sprint towards it, and you hit it with the fucking shoryuken, and you like punch it right in the acid sac, and then immediately slide underneath its body. The acid like flies above it and lands on its chitinous back. It begins to scramble and freak out. Give me a D4.
3 plus 8 is 11. Rage.
Okay. And now it's your turn proper.
Alright. Fuck. I'm running out of cool things to do. This thing has a lot of health.
What's your passive perception, by the way?
My passive perception is not good. What is it? 10 plus my perception?
Yeah.
That's 9. I think while it's like fucking being distracted by the acid and everything, I'm gonna sneak up to the old arm. I'm just gonna fucking try to like crush it away from its body.
Okay. You're gonna like, oh no, scythe arm. Okay. You move over to one of this thing's scythe arms, and you get a good grip on one of the joints. Go ahead and roll athletics again.
I rolled a nat 1, then a nat 15. I got a 24.
Okay. You begin to pull at one of these scythe arms, and you hear it crack a little bit, and it goes limp. You can tell that this is going to make it harder for this thing to attack. What do you do? We'll say that was one of your attacks.
I want to pull it off.
Okay, go ahead and give me another athletics check.
13. 13 plus 9 is a 22.
Okay. You begin to just like pull at this thing, and you pull and you pull and you pull, and you just rip it right off. You have a big Kruthic arm. You're holding it. This thing lets out a massive roar. And it like scrambles away from you, and it looks at you with a rage in its eyes, and it screeches once more and then comes at you with all 3 of its claws. Does 14 hit your AC?
14?
Yeah.
14 masturbates, actually.
Okay. The bug jacks you off. No. Okay. So, here's what happens. You see... You ripped the arm clean off, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay. This thing comes at you with the remaining 3 arms, and the first 2 manage to land squarely in your back. I need for you to take 12 and 13.
12 and 13. So 6 and 6.
Mm-hmm. The last thing it like leaps at you and does like the first 2 on top, and you can see the little nubbin where its other arm was try to like move downward as if to like right itself, because it was coming in for another swing with its lower right scythe arm, and it like moves as though its other arm was there, but there's nowhere to hold the weight, so it just kind of like tumbles down to the ground and it just rolls around a lot.
God.
It's very embarrassing. It's a good thing this thing's mom isn't here, because it'd be quite disappointed. What do you do?
Did it right itself?
No, it's on the ground.
I want to like go over and smash its face in with its arm.
Go ahead and give me a attack roll.
Reckless attack.
Give me a very reckless attack. Just add your strength for it.
Because I'm not proficient in arm.
You are not proficient in bug arm.
That is a 17.
Okay. This is the first time you've gotten underneath its AC. You like move You move over to it and you just like use its arm to just like hit it in the face, but it just like bounces off of the chitin. What do you do?
I gear up for a strong hit.
Okay, go ahead and roll again.
18 plus 20, so 23.
Okay, that connects. You like hit it once and then you hit it twice and then you like really grip onto the thing and you swing it down with all of your might, releasing a loud cry as you do. You hear another crack. Go ahead and roll damage. We'll say bug arm is 1d8.
3 plus 8, 11.
Okay. This thing looks hurt. It's tried to cut you and it's tried to spit acid on you, but it's too dumb to run away. So it just like gets itself up again, because this is the fucking apex predator of this land. It's gonna kill you, damn it. And it tries to give you the old big spit again. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
I can see this.
You can see this.
19. Close. Fucking close. 19 plus 2 is 21.
Okay, alright. So, here's what happens. It actually... This is the first time you haven't gotten a 20 when it's trying to spit on you. You watch it, like, bring its head back and the acid roils around in its mouth. And this time, you're still, like, overflowing with the just massive monkey brain of, like, must murder good. And you don't recognize, or you're fucking Bane, so you recognize that this thing is going to spit on you, but you don't move out of the way fast enough to avoid all of the attack. Take 27 acid damage. No, take 13 acid damage.
Okay.
Alright. This thing, tired and bruised, just looks at you and just weakly chitters at you. What do you do? You were still holding its arm.
Fucking smack.
Go ahead and give me some attack rolls.
Frenzily. Or not frenzily, recklessly. That's a 10 for the first one. Alright. And a 19 for the second one.
Okay. You begin to beat this thing with its own arm. The first hit just like bounces off its chitin with like a small reverberation. And the second one, it actually manages to just like use the chitin on its scythe to block the attack itself. And then it tries to give you a stab. Does. Hey, 26 hit your AC.
Yes.
Does. Hey, 24 hit your AC.
Yes.
Okay. The first hit lands on your shoulder and draws blood. Take 9 slashing.
I'll take 4.
Okay. And then take 8 slashing.
Another 4.
Okay. This thing at this point, like looks around a little bit and pulls back from you. What do you do? You can punch it. Attack of opportunity.
Yeah, I'll claw it in the face.
Okay, give it a claw.
I think recklessly as well.
Go for it.
Oops. 14.
Okay. You like swing at it, but the claw just like bounces off of the chitin as it like skitters away from you. It's not turning its back to you, but it is moving away from you. It's your turn. What do you do?
I want to throw the thing at it like a javelin at its face.
Go ahead and give me a ranged attack roll. Just add your dex.
My dex, not my strength?
Well,
I would argue big, strong, meaty arm.
It takes a lot of big, strong, meaty arm to just hold this, but I think throwing it would be dex.
It's a 20.
Fuck! Oh, this poor You just take its arm and you just fucking yeet it at it, and it like sails through the air and spins, and the like pointy end lands directly in the spot where it used to be, and it lets out a loud screech. Roll a d8 for damage.
3 plus. This is only melee, so 8.
Okay.
I think if I'm adding strength.
Add your dex to this one.
My dex? Oh, it's 5.
Okay. 5 total?
Yeah.
Okay. Now what do you actually do? Because you got one more attack.
That was my... Oh, yeah. That was my attack. I'm going to run in, and I want to just, like... I want to punch the crab claw in further.
Holy shit. Okay. Give me an attack roll.
I'm going to do this recklessly. That's a 12.
Okay. Damn it, it would have been so cool. I fucking love Bane.
Bane's so good.
You move up to this thing and you like try to punch at the little bit of I guess you punch the other end of the arm in an attempt to like push it further in, but this thing is moving backwards at such a speed that you're not able to get it exactly. It again tries to give you 2 slashes with its upper scythe arms.
It has advantage.
It has 24 for the first hit, and 20 for the second hit.
Both hit.
Okay. 11 slashing and 14 slashing.
So 5 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
12. Okay.
How's Bane looking?
Bane is pretty hurt. At 37. Bane will go in and try to punch the crab claw back in.
Okay. Go for it.
Recklessly. Uh, 14 plus 9 is a 23.
Okay, connects. You like go in and you just like punch this thing, and you punch this thing's own pulled out arm that you threw back into it, deeper into its body. I'm just imagining like you know in God of War when like Kratos like does a running attack with his hands, he just goes up and he goes like,
yeah,
you do that
basically.
to it, basically, and you like drive it in deeper. Roll a d8 for damage.
1 plus 8 is 9.
Real math hours, who up? You punch this thing. You punch this thing's arm into its own body further, and it lets out another screech. You have another punch you can do.
Yeah, I think like I punch it once and then I keep turning, I twist, and I fucking punch the same spot again and drive it further.
Okay, go for it. Give me another attack roll.
Alright. 17 plus 9, 26.
Okay, yeah. God. Does Bane ever kick?
Sure.
What is Bane's
kick.
dex?
Bane's dex is plus 2.
Okay.
14.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be dexterous enough to do any cool flips here. So I think you just like run up and you like give it the heavy.
Bane very much muscles.
Yeah, you just give it the heavy like overhand, and like carrying the momentum of that, you like pull the other side of your body around and you backhand the other side of it, or you backhand the same spot, and you drive it in even deeper. You hear the sound of like cracking chitin, and this time you hear like a soft, fleshy, piercing sound. You've struck home pretty good. Roll damage again.
6 plus 8 is 14.
Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. These guys don't even need to... Okay. Alright. The thing, like, looks at you, and then it looks past you, and then it just turns around and runs as fast as it can.
I have an attack of opportunity.
You
bitch.
do. Would you like to do a punch on it?
No, I want to grab its leg. You're not running away from me.
Let's have a strength contest. You're probably gonna win this one, buddy.
It's an 8. 13 plus 5 for just strength, right?
Yeah.
18.
Yeah, 18 is bigger than 12. This thing, like, turns around and, like, tries
Wait,
to...
it only has a +4 to strength? My first roll was an 8 out of 1.
You turn around and you grab this thing by both of its hind legs. It, like, turns and you're like... And you just hold it in place as it just, like, squirms beneath you. At this point, you hear the sound of, like, heavy footsteps coming from behind you. They bolt in 4s, and you also hear the sound of rumbling as well. You see a silver spear fly through the air. And it lands directly next to this big bug thing that you're trying to fight. And you see a figure on, like, a massive wild boar wearing a mask that covers, like, half of his face. He brings the boar in front of this thing as he swoops down to grab the spear, and he, like, swings around. And
I tell him, fucking no, this is mine. Stop what you're doing. Fuck off.
He says, "Do you at least want any help? This thing has been causing us trouble for the longest fucking time." And then he pulls the hog to a stop a little bit, and he looks at it, and he looks back at you, and then he looks behind you, and he's like, "Yeah, no, guys, he's got it. Just let him do it." And then you see this other person. She's wearing these, like, long flowing robes. She, like, sails up, riding on earth beneath her as she moves, and she, like, looks at you and she says, "Holy fuck, dude."
Hold on. Let me finish this.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Fucking headbutt it.
Give me an attack roll. You have advantage on this.
12 plus 9. I think I'm proficient in head.
Yeah, we'll say you're proficient in head. 21. Okay. You, like, rear back your head, and with all of your, like, denseness and, like, what is your int?
0.
All of your very normal int, you just, like, pull this thing on either side of its legs and just, like, smash your forehead into the back of its tail. Go ahead and roll a d8.
Strong head.
Big, strong head damage.
4 plus 8 is a 12.
Okay. You, like, smash your head into the back of this thing, and you just hear the sound of, like, popping and crunching. This thing, like, squirms and squirms and squirms, and then stops, and it falls to the ground. The figure on the hog hops off of it and just, like, pats it on the back twice, and it, like, skitters off. And he, like, looks to the other figure here, and he says, "Risa, this guy just fucking... Okay, Wow, okay, you're..." And he looks to you, and you can see that he's a very fair human. He's got this pale skin, and his eye, or the one eye that you can see, is this bright silver. And he just looks at you, and he takes his spear, and he puts it on his back, and he says, "You are really, really fucking strong. That thing has been tormenting us for the past month and a half, and you just come out of nowhere and kill it?"
And then I think at this point I calm down and I just turn to him and I say, Maybe I'm just lucky.
The two look at each other, and then they kind of like squint, and then they look at you, and the mask guy doesn't say anything, and then the earth surfing gal, she's just like, yeah, sure, dude, you're lucky. Yeah. Wow, though. Really, thank you. We've lost a lot of friends to this fucker.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Holy shit. Wow. Wow, I can't... This is a lot to take. You killed that thing by headbutting it.
Lucky.
Alright, well, here's what we can do for you. Do you like drinking at all? Because we're definitely going to pull out the reserves, because this is cause for a huge celebration.
I start walking towards them.
Which one? A mask guy or a stone gal?
Drinking.
Oh. Wait, what?
Towards the person who said drinking.
Stone gal. She's like, she takes a step back and she's like, yeah, sure. Yay? Nay?
Sure.
Alright. That's our home over there. And she points to the small encampment that you were working towards. And she turns to the other guy and she says, hey, Volo, can you, take this thing's head? We'll make it a present for, what's your name?
Thaneous Bane.
Thaneous Bane, huh? Pleasure to meet you, Thaneous. Name's Risa, and she extends a hand.
I extend back.
Okay. You guys exchange a hearty handshake. The other guy, mask guy, turns to her and says, hey, can you tell Poco to come on back? It's gonna take a while for me to walk there. I probably should have kept him here. Especially if I'm gonna be carrying a head. And she just nods.
I can carry it if you want.
Well, I have to take the head first. That's gonna be like a whole thing. I've only got a spear. I wasn't expecting you to fucking headbutt it to death, so I didn't bring a carving axe. He hands you... Or he like, grabs onto his spear, and he, like, looks at it a little bit, and he says, it's a family heirloom. Please be careful with it. And he hands it to you.
Careful.
This thing
give
is...
it back.
He takes it back, and he says, thank you, I guess.
I go over to the body, and I pull out the claw, the scythe, and I just start carving away at the head of the scythe.
Go ahead and roll athletics. You have advantage on this.
Alright.
There we go.
Natural 20.
There we go. That's what I wanted.
All is right
That's
in
what
the
I
world.
wanted. That's what I wanted. You move over and just like it's very good. You grab this thing by the top of the head and you dig your fingers just through this thing's like heavy sharp chitin, and you grab one of its arms with the other hand and you just rip it off. You throw it up in the air so it's like facing the right direction, and you grab it, and with one swing you just like shink right through it, severing it from its body. The other two are just like looking at you in awe. Holy shit! The mask guy just says,
Where are we taking this?
we're taking it to Leicester. Back home, I guess. Risa, can you do the thing? And she just nods her head. She grabs... How would she do this? Yeah, okay. She motions for you and Mask Guy to get closer. Volo just, like, gets to her side immediately. What do you do?
I get closer with the big head that I'm holding.
As you do, she just kind of, like, looks at it apprehensively, and she's like, I'm impressed and grossed out at the same time. That is...
Thanks.
That's something else, Thaneous. Well, we're gonna be heading back. Hold on tight. And she, like, waves her hands around the ground, which just like rumbles beneath you all. And this like circle of stone just appears beneath your feet, and you guys begin like dashing off towards the small encampment.
What speed?
Huh?
What speed?
Probably like 60.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if I was going to move faster than it.
It would have been the biggest fucking power play. Holy shit.
Yeah, so now I have a head.
You now have a head. Go ahead and add one Kruthik head, Kruthik head, to your inventory. Okay, all right. So the three of you eventually get to the outskirts of the city. At this point, the sun is beginning to set. It is like late afternoon, going on night. No, it's night as established because you looked up and you saw the stars. You get over to the town and you see Masked Guy, whose name is he hasn't introduced himself, has he? No, he hasn't. Yeah, there's the other one. I know they've said their other names, or they've said each other's names, but I don't think they've introduced themselves. But you watch as Masked Guy like reaches down to a pack that's on his waist, and he pulls out this big horned trumpet, and he lets out this huge bellowing noise. As he does, you see a lot of people from this encampment, which is less of a city and more of a collection of tents. They each come outside, and they see you three like gliding towards the encampment. A couple of them see the head that you're carrying, and they begin to like lose their shit. They're like cheering and yelling and like throwing things in the air. You see one guy and another guy just like beat on their chests against each other, and they're like dude broing, and it's like bro, and they point out to the skull, and they're like, you can tell that they're in overjoyous disbelief. You three eventually get back into the
Wait, hold on.
Huh?
I can do a thing.
Okay, yeah. Would you like to do a thing?
All right. So as this is happening, I think I get excited by everything that's happening, and I think I want to flex.
Okay. Oh boy, here we go. Roll athletics.
18.
Okay. You do a really good flex. And the two guys that were like broing at each other, they flex back at you. Their flexing is nowhere close to your godlike flexing. They're trying their best, but they just can't channel the power of Thaneous Bane.
God. And then as I'm sort of like enjoying this welcoming to the city, it gives me a sense of deja vu, and then I start to remember sometimes when back in my adventuring days, when we would deal with a big monster or a group of cultists or some danger that a city was facing, and we would go into the city. We would get these, celebrations and the appreciations, and I remember the group, and then I think I stopped flexing, and I sort of just like look down, and I'm just sort of like, let's just get this over with.
Damn. The geomancer like looks at you and sees a worry, or a bit of worry, grow on your face, and she gives you a pat on the back. Masked Guy, however, once you guys are like at the edge of the encampment and the stone thing has stopped, he hops off and he begins to say, "Bravers and still alike, I come bearing great news. This man right here," and he points to you, "has slain the Kruthik that has been plaguing us for months." The entire city just kind of like lets out in an uproar for a little bit. He raises a hand, and they all calm down. he further says, and so, in celebration of this momentous occasion, we offer a toast for, and then he like leans in, he's like, what was your name again?
Thaneous Bane.
For Thaneous Bane, hero and savior of Alaestar. We shall party until the sun rises. And he like grabs his spear and he raises it into the air. And then everybody loses their shit.
Do I recognize the name Eliaster?
Roll history.
7.
Nope. As far as Bane is concerned, he cannot recall ever hearing the name of this place. Everybody begins to like lose their shit. And the whole encampment is just like alit with not rapture. That's another thing. Just like overflowing with joy and excitement. You see people smashing tankards together. You see people like arm in arm doing dances, and everybody looks ecstatic. Mask guy looks at you and he extends a hand and he says, Volodymyru, pleasure to meet you, Thaneous.
Pleasure to meet you.
Let's head to the head camp. There's bound to be a bountiful feast for you. He lets a sharp whistle out and he says, Jasna, where are you? And this other individual wearing a mask that only covers the top half of their face appears, and they look at Volodymyru and they do a small salute. And they say, sir, yes, sir. And Volodymyru just says, I need for you to prepare the best, and he looks at you. Wine or ale?
Something strong.
Find me the strongest thing you got, kiddo. Jasna does another salute and then runs off. He begins to walk you towards this big tent that's near the center of the encampment. And inside are a lot of different people. You see several individuals, each with masks very similar to his own. But you also see other folk that are dressed with these headbands that have beads on them. Typically, they cover one half of their face and they drape down. But you can tell that there's an even amount of both of these people, both the masked people and the veil folk. He takes you inside and you see everybody looks at you and they cheer as you walk by. One of them like runs up to you and says, Bane, can I get a hug?
Sure.
He just goes in and he just goes like tap 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 on your shoulder or on your shoulder, and he says, "That fucking beast took me, Mom. I'm so thankful for what you did."
I'm sorry for your loss. You're welcome.
He looks very excited and he like turns back to his friends and he's like, "I gave him a hug, guys." The three of you eventually get to the head of this table where there is a seat waiting in front of you. There is a tankard there filled with a clear liquid to the very top, and there is a just gigantic roast in the spot where you're meant to be sat at. Volodymyru sits at the head of the table next to another figure that is wearing a veil that kind of like drapes over their face, but you can see their like nose and their mouth. You can barely see their eyes behind it. He stands up and he does a very deep bow, and he says, "I am Struthio, the head of Still. For the sake of my people and those that they have lost, those that they have loved, I thank you from the bottom of my heart."
Of course. I mean, honestly, it was just self-defense.
Self-defense or no, you are a hero. We shall never forget what you've done.
All right. Cool. Thanks.
He sits back down and sips at a small drink in front of him. Volodymyru sits and begins, or he takes a knife and he like grabs a big piece of the roast in front and just like slaps it into, or he throws it into the air and like swallows it with a big gulp. Actually, before he does it, he pulls his mask up to the top of his head and you can see that he has this like huge burn on the side of his face. He just like gobbles down this piece of ham and he like points towards it and he's like, well, dig in.
Sure.
Risa, fuck. Risa looks at you and she says, I can take that head now, you know.
Oh.
I mean, I understand if you want to carry it around, but...
yeah, I should probably not have this. Yeah.
She takes it from you, and she says, do you happen to know how big your head is?
My head?
Like in centimeters?
I haven't thought of it, no.
Don't worry about it. She looks up and she like squints her eyes as she looks at your head. She's like, got it. And she runs out of the big party tent. What do you do?
I start to eat.
Okay.
And I start to drink. And I think
whatever is in this tankard, you sit down and you smell it. Like, you don't even have to look at it to know that this shit is really the strongest stuff that they have.
I smirk a bit, and then I start drinking.
Okay.
And I look... Yeah, please don't. I look at the scene of celebration and good tidings and genuine happiness, and I smile to myself a bit. And then I start to remember Carp and Orias and my crew, and that smile quickly fades. And I eat and sort of drink in silence for the most part.
Okay. Eventually, let's see, who else is here? Okay, yeah, Chrysokium's here. There is a figure that is wearing a veil that only covers, like, it kind of, like, cascades down his face in, like, a reverse bar graph kind of way is the best way I could describe it. He leans in from across the table and he says, you know, Thaneous, for somebody who just killed something that's been threatening an entire encampment for so long, you don't look too happy. What's going on?
I don't even know where to start. Have you heard of a city called Rame?
Like from Ramia? Rame?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Why?
Well, that's, I guess, my home. Well, my
How
home...
the hell did you get all the way out here?
Out where?
We're in Leicester. We're in Gosha, Western Gosha. You're thousands of miles away from home, buddy.
Oh.
Did you travel here, or are you a pilgrim or something?
No, I already had some sips, right? I've been drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I came back to life here.
His eyes go wide, and he says, "Excuse me?"
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you did. Welcome back to the world of the living, buddy.
I died in the Faewilds.
The where?
The Faewilds?
Mm-mm. Is that on Eastern Gosha or something?
It's a different plane.
Full of surprises, aren't you, buddy?
I guess. Have you heard of Orias?
Mm-mm. Is that also in Eastern Gosha?
That's a person. Well, a person is a strong word.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of Thane?
Oh, yeah. It's only day and a half, 2 days worth of travel from here. Not really my place, but they do some good work there.
Maybe I should.
You're from Thane, aren't you? Like originally?
Yeah.
Crazy. Huh. Small world, eh?
Yeah, I guess since I'm here, maybe I should visit my old one's apparent visit, huh?
Well, if you want to.
Yeah. I guess. Oh man, a lot's happened.
Yeah. Listen, buddy, it seems like you've been through a lot, and I don't want to pressure you into talking about some bad stuff. I understand you've been through. Well, I assume you've been through a lot. I mean, you said you died and you revived in the middle of a continent that you're not even from.
What's your name?
Chrysokion.
Chrysokion. Could I tell you the truth? I want to kill a god.
Chrysokion just like leans back and then looks at the cup that's sitting next to him, and he grabs it and he takes a big swig and he like slams it down on the table and he leans back in and he says, "You know what, Thaneous? Me fucking too."
Yeah?
Yeah.
Which one for you?
I'd rather not say. But hey, how about this? And he stands up and he like bangs a fork to his tankard, and he says, "Everyone, a toast to deicide." And the whole room goes up in cheers. That is the last thing Bane remembers. Bane, give me a Constitution saving throw.
God. Percy.
Yes. How'd you roll? Was it a 1 or a 20?
I'll just wait for you to come.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Bane, you awake.
That's a natural 20, folks.
Oh my god. You awake in a cot with, 2 other people that are, like, holding you tightly. They are both very asleep. You stand up and you, like, kind of right yourself for a little bit. And you, with the fucking 20, wow. You, like, wake up and then you, like, feel the hangover coming and you just, like, flex. And then all of the alcohol just, like, shoots out of your body onto the walls. It, like, it splashes on one of the 2 people that were in this cot, and you're like, ugh. But you're awake, and the sun is outside, and you've never felt healthier.
All right, and I just leave, and I just start to do my stretches outside.
Okay. Roll athletics for good stretching.
12.
Okay. Okay. So, you're outside of the little tent, and also you realize you're only wearing your underwear?
Yes.
Okay. You're outside. Do you try to find your pants, or are you just stretching out outside in your undies?
Oh, you don't stretch in pants.
Okay. You're just like outside in the middle of this encampment, in your underwear, just doing some stretches. And eventually you see Volodymyr, like slowly walk towards you. His shirt is off and he's wearing a skirt that's like held together by rope that's loosely tied in a knot. He has his mask over his face and he's like holding his head with one hand. And he says, Hey Thaneous, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, suffice to say, I've been better. He looks at you and he has a worn smile on his face, and he says, "Hell of a party last night. I guess you had some fun too, by the fact you're out here not wearing pants."
I think so, yeah.
Good.
Just doing my stretches.
Okay.
Um,
Well, listen. Obviously, this goes without saying, but thank you. Like, for really, 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 thank you.
yeah, of course. I mean, again, it was either I live or I die. And I chose to live.
Glad you did, buddy. So, what do you plan on doing from here on out?
I don't know.
What do you mean? You must have been out there for some reason, right? I did hear you and Kasokion talking about some. Said you're from Thane. Were you walking from there to here?
Could you keep a secret?
Yeah, sure.
What would you do if you had a second chance?
What do you mean?
Well, let's say hypothetically you died.
Mm-hmm.
And then hypothetically you woke up with pants and nothing else.
Glad I got the pants. Am I right?
Yeah, I guess so. And you wake up in a field surrounded by grass, with the scar. And
Out of character, Bane has had that scar for a while.
yeah, I mean, I know. I just wanted to say it.
Okay.
You wake up in the field, I guess, with the scar that's been on you for a while. Starts glowing.
Mm. He points to your chest and he's like, "I'm guessing that scar."
Yeah. And then you walk towards some sort of settlement, and then you kill a big bug. Let's say hypothetically that all happened. What would you do next?
He crosses his arms and looks off into the distance, and he lets out a big huff. Well, Thaneous, that's not an easy question to answer. To be entirely honest, that's so far out of my realm of expertise that I don't even know what I would do.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out.
Well, whatever it is you do, Thaneous, you've got us at your back. The Bravers and the Still. We owe you one.
Thanks. Although I have to say, I have a feeling, and my feelings are usually on point. I have a feeling that this will be a lot of danger.
As soon as you say that, a sharp yell comes from the other side of town.